Hi, my name is Tim Rice. I teach psychology to Christian high school students, and the purpose of this video is to explain some of the reasons I think Christian students should study psychology. Reason number one is many Christian students go to college to become psychologists or counselors, social workers. People are hurting, and Christian students have a heart for meeting the world's spiritual needs by spreading the gospel and meeting physical needs in times and places of difficulties with food and blankets and shelter, and Christians are drawn to help people with mental pain and suffering. Abigail Rice, my daughter, she's a beautiful young lady with a heart for God, and she's studying social work and wants to work with victims of sex trafficking. Now, sure, Abigail needs to pray hard, but students like her need a firm grounding in their biblical worldview and how that fits, if it fits at all, with their career choice. If it fits at all, because psychology is controversial among Christians. And I think students need to understand that controversy before choosing it as a career, not after, like I did. And even if you aren't a social work psychology type, you know the type, most colleges, including Christian colleges, require students of all disciplines to take it, at the very least, an introductory psychology class. Check it out. Go online to your college, your degree choice, and see if psychology is not there. And there's lots of Christian professors, don't get me wrong, but psychology departments are home to some of the more anti-Christian intellectuals on college campuses. In fact, psychology professors tend to have the highest percentage of atheists and agnostics, and many will attack the Christian worldview as unscientific, irrational, prudish, exploitive, controlling, inhibitive, oppressive, naive. And many believe that Christianity is incompatible with sound mental health, that it contributes to human suffering, and that the intelligent believer will eventually abandon their faith. And that's not really surprising when you look closely at psychology's core assumptions. Not necessary, but not surprising. The professors and the material taught by the professors in any introductory course is going to challenge a Christian's worldview beliefs. Now, a lot of worldview classes that I've seen, they deal with psychology, with Sigmund Freud and Carl Rogers and B.F. Skinner, but there are important core worldview assumptions woven through it all. Important assumptions about God, about the nature of man, whether or not we're just packs of neurons, or if we have a nature that somehow is more than our brains. Assumptions about morality and the limits of science and the causes of and cures for mental pain and suffering. And these anti-Christian assumptions are embedded, sometimes subtly, in modern psychology's theories and schools of thought, and they're presented under the banner of science. If it's true, as I've read, that many Christian students walk away from their faith after the first year of college, if that's true, and if it has anything to do with what's taught in college, it may be, at least in part, because of these worldview challenges embedded in psychology's theories. There's another reason I think it's important to deal with psychology, and that's Darwinian evolution. It's the new psychology. Freud and behaviorist psychology and humanism and cognitive psychology, those are yesterday's news. Today, neurobiology and evolutionary psychology are the main theories. Darwin anticipated it in the Origin of Species in 1859. He wrote this, quote, "In the distant future I see open fields for far more important research. Psychology will be based on a new foundation, that of the necessary acquirement of each mental power and capacity by gradation. Light will be thrown on the origin of man and his history." Students need to understand that according to Darwin, all mental activity, even those things that we think of as our God-likeness, is nothing more than some capacity that we acquired bit by bit through variation and natural selection. So Darwinian evolution, when it's applied to psychology, it reduces our consciousness and morality and decision-making and judgments and religious experience, you name it, love, empathy, altruism, hate, greed, dreams, everything to everything that makes us human, to a bunch of neurons doing the thing they evolved to do. So psychology, more than biology, is where the theory of evolution has its most difficulty. There are no cogent, thorough evolutionary explanations for our higher capacities, our God-likeness. It's my opinion, for what that's worth, that evolution's death knell as a theory will not come from geology or dinosaur bones, but from psychology. And when our students understand the implications of evolution, of evolution's failures in terms of psychology, it's easier to listen to the foolishness coming from the other disciplines. So that is why I think it's important to deal with psychology. Deal with it while they're still at home, because they're going to deal with it eventually. Thank you for your time.